Hello everyone, welcome back to Sajavana channel, and this is Sajavana Games. Today we're playing a little bit of Subnautica, and I just wanted to give people who've never played this game and they're just starting out a couple quick tips to help them out. So I'm not going to go through, where every little thing is and every little game mechanic and whatnot, but just a few pointers and a few quick tips. Locations of one or two things. First of all, this is the starting location. You're gonna start in this pod, you're going to come out, you're going to see the crash ship in front of you. Now you're going to explore the shallow area right below here. There's, your basic resources are going to be here to get started, things like that. But one place you're going to want to go as soon as you have your scanner, and there's a place you're going to want to go. You don't have to be able to dive deep because it's not underwater. Is if you go to the right of the ship, you'll see on the horizon this cloud here that's like right on the water. And you'll know if you're not sure exactly which one it is. If you pull up your little tablet, you can see it kind of glows white. Now there's two of these. There's one to the right of the ship, right here, and then there's one like past the front to the left, right there. Now those are the only two clouds that will light up like that. If you kind of turn and look different places on the horizon, there's two, right? So there's this one here and that one there, and they're kind of opposite each other. You're gonna want to go to the one to the right first. So pretty early on, you're gonna go here. It's a little over 1,000 meters to get there, but there's an island hidden in that cloud. On that island, there's like two mountain peaks with like an abandoned research base on each one. You'll find little data tablets and base components to scan. And very important, you'll also find on the island plants that you can put in the planners that you put inside your base that will give you important resources. I mean, it really simplifies survival because you can like hunt for fish and there's a bladder fish that gives you a good amount of water. Other fish give you less water and more food when you eat them, as long as they're cooked, right? So you have to cook them. But the stuff here on the island that you get, you can plant. You can plant on your base. It'll grow fairly quickly, and then whenever you go to your base, you won't be hunting for resources. You'll have what you need to kind of refuel and survive. So let's go ahead and take our Seamoth out there. You can swim there on the surface, but we'll save time and take the sub out there since we already got it built. Now, when you do get the sea moth, be careful. It is fragile. That's why it's called the sea moth. It it is fragile. It can break. There are like large leviathans in certain areas that you're gonna find that will attack this thing and kill it like in one or two hits. There are if you bump into stuff, it'll get damaged fairly quickly. But it's still convenient. It has its usage, which I'll cover in a moment. So I built a base underneath this island, kind of a little bit in front of it and underneath it. I'm gonna drive out here and show you where the island is. You can swim along the surface. You don't have to worry about depth for diving and stuff. You can get there. Now the sub, when you initially get it, just at the top you can see there I got 0 meters or 1 meter because I'm skimming along the surface. And a 300. That 300 is my crush depth. When you start out, it's not 300. You add like upgrades to it to make it go deeper. But again, you don't need to go super deep. Um, the island is on the surface, so and as you get closer, you can see it starts to appear, like through the water. It shows up first. You can see it there, and then but like on the surface, you don't see it quite yet. So and then yeah, here you go. Now it's starting to show up. So when you get to the island, there's a couple spots where you can land on the beach and go inside this island. If you go underneath the island, it's actually kind of floating. Um, you can go under it, and it is floating. And there's like a hole in the middle, and you can come up in the center. But just for to be easy on you, just start by coming to the front of it here. So you get off, you go on the island, and there's multiple paths up. These things you just need to make sure and have a little bit of food and water with you if you don't want to die while exploring. But yeah, and if you get your knife, you'll be good. So there's like stuff to scan and plant here. These flowers you can get. I don't know what the use for them is. These you can also plant, the speckled rattler. But there's the thing in the middle, so you can go down that, and there's tunnels down there too that come up. And there is a place on the island where there's like a teleporter that takes you from the other island to this island and back. But you have to turn it on from the second island. But you don't want to go there till later. The second island is more dangerous. It has little things that will kill you on it, on the island itself, and it has other stuff. So you can see there's a peak, there's a mountain, there's a base up there. You can scan different buildings. There's the data pads, and then here's one of the first plants you can get. Actually, two of the first plants. So this one here, the Ming plant. So if you get a seed from it, cut it. There's this bulbo tree. I don't know how to pronounce it. Whatever. So this two things. If I go to my inventory, I'll show you what they do. So the first, the Ming plant is to seed. I don't know really what the purpose that yet is, but the second one is very useful. This one has 10 water and 8 food. Now the screen bar they do age, so they do kind of rot fast. But if you plant them in your base, basically every time you go to your base, you're low on water, go straight to the plant, cut it up, drink some water. Now, if you explore here, let's see, there's some other stuff. These mushrooms you can take with you. I don't know what they do yet, but you can plant and grow them. Let's see what else there is. Oops, not this path. Let's go the other way. I think so. I can't see the second peak yet. There's 3 bases on this island. There's one on each of the 2 mountain peak tops, and then there's like one that's kind of in the middle. There's the other one. So there's the other base. So there's one base, there's another base, and then in between those 2 bases, there is another base on the ground. If I go to this other one here, somewhere here is. Oops, it will fall. That's fine. I don't really care. You'll find your grow beds here eventually. And I've already scanned them, but when you find them the first time, you can scan them. And they'll have important food in them that you can plant and grow in your bases. Here they are. So kind of there's that Ming plant again. Here's the grow bed. This is the external grow bed, I think. But here's one. This is a marble melon. You can pick and plant this. It gives you 14 water, 12 food. So that's even better source of water. Then just over this ledge here, more beds. Here are these Chinese potatoes. These grow really fast. Now, I'll show you how this works here. So some of them, like the other tree, when you chop the seeds down, the last one destroys the plant, and you got to replant it. If you eat the last one, you have to come back to island and get it, or go back to the base if you plant on multiple bases. Same thing with the Chinese potato, right? As you pick them, you eat them, you pick them, and then they're gone. Now, if this was my grow bed, I would take the last seed and I would just replant it, and that's how you make sure, right? And not run out. Same thing for the melons here, right? These are a little harder to get because you don't just pick them up. You have to, if you pick it up, you just transplant it, like you get the whole thing. So the seeds, if you cut it, you get 4 seeds. So then you can plant 4, let it grow. If you pick it up, you can eat it. So that's just kind of a difference. The Chinese potato, you pick it up, you can eat or plant the seed. So it's just a little different mechanic for each of them. Now, there's another thing you want to find here on this island. Another plant. Let me see if I can find one. Oops, come on. There we go. So let's take this path up here. Now some of the the data tablets and stuff we're not going to see because I already picked them up, but they are here. You'll just have to trust me that when you explore, you will find them. Come on. Some of these paths. Sometimes you can jump up the ledge, sometimes you just have to go across. So there's a little earth bridge down below. Let's see here. There's tunnels. There's a couple tunnels on this island as you work your way around, but I'm just looking for this last plant I want to show you guys here. If I can find it. So you know what it looks like. It's basically a tree with these orange teardrop things. It's like a lantern, something lantern tree. Let's see. Some more of that one. You can cut and take that. I don't know what it does yet. See, so, but the plant life is pretty abundant here, so it makes it easy to collect everything you need. Oh, look at that. A tablet I did not find yet. So pick that up. Oh, there we go. So when you find those, pick them up, and you'll unlock new recipes and stuff like that. So let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, here you go. I like this tree, the lantern fruit. Now, if you cut this with your knife or pick it, you can replant these. What's nice about these is if you pick all the fruit, you can't destroy the tree without using your knife. So it's not like the potato where if you're like in a rush and you just pick the last one and eat it, you're out. So these are nice for that. But those are the things you get and plant on your island or get and plant your base. There's also another grow bed here, and then here's the base that's down low. So there's mountaintop base 1. You can't see the other one from this angle, but it's up there. And then in the middle is this other base. So explore all these bases, get these plantable foods. Explore it in here. There's some stuff in here to scan when you first get here. And just collect everything you need. And then, build your base. Now, just make sure before you collect the seeds, right? They do deteriorate. So before you, well, not all of them. This one doesn't. So if you don't see that little bar on the side, it'll last forever. If you see the bar, it's time limited. Now, get your grow beds and build your grow beds first, and then come back and grab your seeds and run back to base and plant them. So that's kind of what I recommend doing. So let's see if I can get back to my sub. I'll show you my setup underneath this island, which is pretty safe. This area, there are a few big creatures to watch out for if you venture too far from the island into some deeper areas, but you'll find some new plant life and things here, as well as the stuff you got. So, sorry about that. Got a phone call coming in. Anyways, okay, so let's go back to our sub here, and then we'll go down. And probably the easiest way, sometimes, if you have everything you need, is find a safe spot to jump and just swim back to your sub. These are fairly safe waters along the surface. Now, the other island is much more dangerous, so, be more careful before you go to the second island. There's a whole alien base on the island, and an area to explore, alien rifle, but there is a lot more leviathans and like large dangerous creatures under the second base, much closer. So the Seamoth. So one of my last tips here, the Seamoth, the crush depth when you first get it is only like 200 meters. So if you go down from here, from this island, so you can see if I go straight down, My base is just below 200. Now, one, you can swim down here, and there are some mountain peaks like here where you could put the base up higher. But I just put my some solar panels there. But yeah, and then I built a base down here. Now, what I recommend doing is building your base down here, and when your sub is like, see this one, like if my sub is like 200, right, just stop right around here, like 190-ish. And what you want to look for is one, there's a shipwreck over there, right? This is a good area to explore here. Build a base here so you can respawn here if you die. But see this crevice in the ground? In here, you can, come out of your Seamoth, build your base, make a spot to get oxygen, yada yada. Right. So, I got stuff in here. So we'll just go in here quick. So here's my kind of standard setup. I got the bioreactor, a bed of 4 trees, a bed of 4 potatoes, a bed of these trees, and then a mix of other things here, and then just a mix of other things here. But really, those 3 are the most important to me. You could also do these because these are 14 water, so those are good too. But sometimes they can be hard to hit with your knife. Like you got to hit the angle just right. The trees and potatoes, these tall ones, they're just so much easier to get. So I usually come back here, my base. I come in, I refill, like just pick them, toss them in your bioreactor. It may not be the most efficient fuel, but they're just always here and they grow like pretty quickly. So then, pick what you need to eat. Just refill. Who cares if I overeat? Just get the water, whatever. Just do it quick. Refill your energy and supplies. Done. So, anyways, that's why you want to plant those. Use them fuel the bioreactor when you get it, so forth. So outside this location under the base, if you swim down, when you go in this ravine, you'll start to find a lot of more valuable resources. Now, do be careful down here. There's something to scan that I didn't pick up before. So power cell charger, which is nice to have. So you'll find a lot of, I want to say you're going to find a lot of crystal down here, but down here at the one end, there's an alien vent to scan. And if you go to the right, you go to the right toward the alien vent, then turn left. And then keep going here. Now, you might need to go faster, whatever, but you'll find these gel sacks, which you can plant in your outside grow beds. So these gel sacks, you combine with some other materials to make some pretty important things. And if you keep going past the gel sacks, you'll find in this area a couple new plants. There's a ghost weed and something feather. What's the name of this thing? Gabe's feather. And then these are the blood vines, or blood seaweed, or whatever. There's no blood on that one. It's going to be a lot of quartz down here. Right, and you can see we're just below 200. So if you can come in here and you can see pretty high up, you can get into this area, park your moth right about 190 and just swim down, get stuff, swim back up, right? But you can get down here fairly easily early on. Here we go. So this stuff here is plantable, and you can turn it into other resources, the blood oil. So get your blood oil. My inventory is already full, so you can see blood oil. Alright, so, and more quartz. We'll get the quartz. But yeah, so this is an important area to get to, I'd say decently quickly. It's, it'll help you out a lot. So let me go back to my Seamoth now. You see here, there's quartz on the walls. This is the material you need for the reactor, for the nuclear reactor. So the nuclear reactor materials down here. Quartz for glass. It's down here. Now I have a little more time than you might when you first come here because I've got the upgrades and stuff. But you can manage pretty early on. Might need to build something to help with the oxygen, but yeah. Let's see if I can make it back. I might have wandered too long. I can make it back to my Seamoth in 30 seconds. I might not. I might have taken too far a path and gotten lost. Oh, I did get lost. I'm gonna die down here. There's my Seamoth. So I took too long. This is why you build the base, right? So I'm just gonna respawn my base right here. Boom. So there's my base. And just for demonstration purposes again, you hop in your Seamoth, right? So the area we were in is, I want to say, like right over here. So if I go this way past the wreck, so right here's a wreck you can explore. Right, there's another way down into that area. But you can see I'm still above the 200. Alright, so if I just go like straight down, you can get into some of that stuff right there. And if I go over here, I think right over here, I'll try and stay above 200 just for the sake of pretending I don't have the upgrades. So another shipwreck, which is important. There's good stuff in this one. There's actually one spot right here to enter and get some things on this side of the ship. And then there's another entry point. Whoops. Oh. That is a creature that did what? Did it steal my sub? Oh, I got my submarine like in one hit. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Alright. So he pulled me out of my submarine. Alright. So the other entry point is, I want to say over here somewhere. I think it's there's a second entry point on this thing if you explore, and you'll come out here. Initially, I think this door is not open, and you'll open that door from the inside. But yeah, so this is a good wreck to explore. There's multiple devices that have like blueprints and data on them. You'll also find a lot of scannables around here. Just ran into a fish. So you'll find, a lot of components to scan. I think, yeah, for your Cyclops, right? And you just turn them into extra resources. So one of my last little tips for exploration I'm gonna share here is this cave here that you'll want to get to, again, fairly early on. And I'll just work my way over there. It'll just take a minute. You can see this base here is kind of far away. And I use this beacon for the entry point for the glow cave or whatever, the glow mushroom cave. I just call it glow cave for short. But there is a cave with a lot of geysers, again, more rare resources like rubies, diamonds, some of your more rare metals will be in there. I mean, not like the rarest rare, but the stuff you're gonna need mid game. That's beyond just like your glass and metal type stuff. But so like gold, silver, um, like some like magnite or whatever. I can't remember what it's called, but it's down there. And snakes, like some kind of worm snake thing, is down there. But I'll show you. There's multiple ways to get into this cave, but the best one will drop you again on another like abandoned structure where there's a lot of things to discover. So let's go here and we'll get a point of reference here in a second. So you see that there's like a geyser spewing up as we're on the way over there. So some spots in this cave are below that crush depth, but initially you'll be able to get there. You'll have to get out of your sub, but you'll be able to get there. All right, so for reference, we're about 473 meters along the surface from the escape pod where we start, right? So we start there, 475 meters out, and what else? So we're kind of behind the ship a little bit. You can see the angle here, behind the crash ship a little bit. Okay, anyways, if we look down, you can see the area. It's kind of opens up a bit. There's some of the tall seaweeds there and stuff. But you'll see this crevice here in the ground. And if you go down into here, running into little fishies. So there's your glow mushroom. So if you want the mushroom, you can get that right here. You don't have to go too much further, right? You don't have to get into the dangerous area. You can see we're not below 200 yet. I've got another base down here, and it's just below 200. So my crush depth rate, I could stop right about here, the roof of the cave, kind of park my ship. Now, there's creatures in here that will damage your ship, whether you're in it or not. These snake things, you see them swimming around there. So if I get out here, now mine will go below 200. I'm gonna leave it here, just pretend it's not upgraded. You go down here, you can see there's an abandoned base. You can explore this, scan things, whatnot. And I built this base here right across from it just so I could get back and forth quickly. And just, when you're exploring initially, just park your Seamoth here. And what's nice about it is, oh, I forgot to turn off the lights. It's like my real car. Turn off the headlights. If you park it here, it really doesn't lose much energy sitting still with the lights off. But every time you get in it, it'll refill your oxygen. So instead of running like the oxygen pipes and stuff down here that you can run all the way down here, instead of doing that, once you get the Seamoth, just park it nearby and go down and build a habitat. The hardest thing will be powering it. I did have to use the tethers, and I had to go quite a distance to tether to the geothermal. But you can do the bioreactor too once you have the bioreactor. So I got my outdoor plants here. I've got my bioreactor inside and stuff growing, but all you need is the basic this basic round room here, the multi-purpose room, and you can put the bioreactor in the middle, build a second one right on top with a ladder, and put your stuff to grow, right? So that'll take about 10 titanium, 5 for each of the multi-purpose rooms. I think another 2 for the ladder, so that's 12. 4 for each of the grow beds, and then whatever you need for the reactor and your other basic components, right? And you can make a survivable habitat down here. When you also another thing, whenever you start building bases and you get the once you have the grow beds, always take with you the seaweed. So this is a good early resource because I'll show you why. If I cut the weed, I get the vine. If I pick it, I get the seeds. Now you can plant either of those. All right, so those are two different things. I can plant the creepvine sample, or I can plant the creepvine seed cluster. I could plant both of these. But if I go to my fabricator, let's talk about some of the resources we reviewed in this video quick. So the fiber mesh is made from the creepvine sample. Rubber is made from the seeds, or the silicone rubber is made from the seeds, and oil is made from the seeds. So that one plant will give you those three resources. Now, some of the other stuff that's going to be important is here the blood oil makes the benzene, so that goes into synthetic fibers when you get the heavy suit later. But the gel sac and the rubies that you'll find in the first cave that I was showing you, kind of below that island, will help you make the aerogel. So this aerogel is important because you need the aerogel to make the filtration machine, as well as several other things. So if you look here at your inventory, you'll need gold and hydrochloric acid to make this here. Make hydrochloric acid, you need the deep sea mushrooms. We haven't really got to those yet, but the aerogel is used in quite a few things. You can see the synthetic fibers is in the reinforced dive suit. You're gonna need diamonds from the cave to make the laser cutter. But if we go down, keep going. So I got quite a few things here, but once we get, here we go, the base components. So here's like the multi-purpose room. Oh, 6 titanium, not 5. I misspoke earlier. Still not far off. Here you go. The geothermal plant, or the thermal plant, needs the aerogel. And the water filtration machine. So those are the two big ones where you're going to need that. And then I think, yeah, the bioreactor just needs the lubricant. The nuclear reactor, it's not anything too fancy really once you have the blueprint. But you'll need the fuel for it. There you go. Then we got some other stuff here. The modification station, nothing too fancy. Power shell, the rubies you'll need for the cell charger. Yeah. So that's the big one. Just take the vines everywhere you go so that you can get your fiber, oil, and rubber. So it's like you can see here. That's 3 out of 9 resources all come from that one plant. This is just 10 of these, so that's that's not hard. The plasticele this is just 10 of these plus 2 lithium. You also find a lot of lithium in the volcanic areas like this cave here. So yeah. Anyways, so just some quick tips to help you out. Find these two islands, or find that island. Find these two kind of underwater areas for the blood oil and for rare metals and resources. Get the plants off the island for sure, so that you can make bases that you can survive in. Oops, that room's empty. There we go. So just come in here. I need calories. Just pick a bunch of stuff off my tree. Oh, oops. I'm filled up already.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Won't let me drop them. So I gotta eat them one at a time. So you can see here. Just get your fruits. Eat your fruits and vegetables, kids, like your mom and dad told you. So, yeah, but this is, yeah, my base. Took me a while to get this down here, but still kind of putting it together. This is early on, rough start. But, yeah, just bring your grow beds, bring your trees, and your potatoes, and you will survive. So, other last tip, you start building bases, don't get carried away with glass and crazy stuff, because when you build in this game, the structures have strength, so they do have the strength, and they will leak and be uninhabitable. So like you can see here, this is a reinforced wall. Um, let's see if I can build another one. If I have the materials, I'll do it just so we can see. So I need, yeah, 1 lithium and celestia. So if I go to my base building tool, so reinforcement. One thing I don't like about this game is you can see it doesn't tell you like how much strength any of these have. It doesn't tell you how much strength this adds, but it will when I build it. So when I'm done constructing this, you can see in the upper left corner, +7 to base hull strength, now 14.7. If that number goes too low, the base will start to leak and fill with water, and then there'll be no oxygen, right? It'll just stop working. So you just have to be careful when you build glass and stuff. It will weaken your base. Do I have glass? Let's see. Alright, so glass. Do I have enough for a window? Oh, just one. Okay, here we go. So if I build this glass window, minus 1.2 to hull strength. So, you might be nice to see outside or to see in from out, but you build too much glass and you'll break your base. So unless you really need to see outside, like you want to keep an eye on your grow beds or alien creatures, whatever, you can do without all the windows and just enjoy the scenery while you're outdoors. Because your base will leak and it'll be a pain to fix because it'll get leaks like in all the modules and you'll have to go through and fix them all with your repair tool, and it requires battery. So yeah, I just like to avoid leaks. So anyways, this is Subnautica. It's a fun game to explore a lot of things, catch fish. This magnetic trap or gravity trap thing is pretty cool. I like to put them near my bases or carry one with me because it'll pull in all these little fishies, and when you need fish to survive, it makes it really easy to catch them, and then you can go cook them up. So if you don't have, the alien containment to breed fish, and you don't have the plants yet, if you get the gravity trap, you can throw it down in areas where there's a decent amount of fish, and it'll pull them in so they're slow and right next to you, and you can pick them off easy. So you can cook them up and eat them. Because most of your fish, when they're uncooked, they will not give you, this in the food. It'll give me food but no water. When it's cooked, it gives me food and water, and the food value is increased when it's cooked. So, yeah, cook your fish. And some of them will have a negative water value when they're uncooked. Like if I go to the other fish I caught here, -7 for the Oculus on the water. But if I cook it, so now 11 food, -7 uncooked, 30 food, +2 water instead of -7 cooked. So there you go. Yeah. So that is my couple quick tips for playing Subnautica. So take your seaweed or creepy vines, whatever, with you everywhere you go. They make three important materials when you build your base. Go easy on the windows and glass tubes. They weaken it and it will start leaking. And yeah, a couple important resources. Find those islands. You can get your plantable objects in your growing beds, other data discoverables and stuff like that for blueprints. Pretty easy. Anyways, and your Seamoth, just remember it's fragile. It has a crush depth. So when you want to explore deep early on and you have it, use the sea glide. Oops. Okay, so I don't know why it's got that hologram in front of me, but use the sea glide. It's, gonna be nicer. One, the sea glide has a battery, but it doesn't really have health. If you die and you respawn, your sea glide respawns with you. If your sea moth dies, it basically falls apart and
Welcome aboard, Captain.
you build a new one. So all your modules die with it and everything. So if you blow up your sea moth, it's gone. Um, if you die with your sea glide, you come back with it. So use the sea moth as like a mobile oxygen refill station. And then dive out when you don't have the expanded tank and the upgraded fins. If you got the sea glide, use it to dive down. Because so if I got my sea glide here, and it doesn't have any upgrades. I don't think there are any upgrades to the sea glide. I can still easily swim down to like these caves and stuff, and there's no crush depth on this thing. Right, so this thing doesn't crush. It doesn't have, its battery is its only limitation. And you can see it didn't use that much to get down here. If you get down here, plant a grow bed and throw one of these brain corals in it before you build a whole base. You can make a little, oxygen refill. So, yeah. So use the Seamoth for a mobile oxygen station. Use the Sea Glide to pop out, adventure deeper below crush depth, and take a little less risk of losing all your resources. Um, I mean, if you will lose stuff in your inventory when you die, but you won't lose like your equipment. So I've never lost any equipment when I die. You just lose like these materials, but all these things that you can put in your action slots, your light, your laser cutter, your repair tool, scanner, habitat builder, stasis rifle, propulsion gun, sea glide, none of that, and all this stuff here, your wearables, none of that is lost when you die. It comes back with you um, every time. So, don't worry about it. You can see I swam down and back up, and I had 144 left. So 225. So it took me about 80 oxygen to get down there and back. I mean, I wasn't down there long, but 80 oxygen, you can get down and back. Um, so that's good. Anyways, this is Sajabana signing off. Have fun gaming.